as we all get older, health is an issue. And an interesting thing with people that have time pressure, this Meyer Friedman in his book talks about, usually have some heart issues. There's another thing about time pressure. It creates cortisol. You know what cortisol is? Cortisol is a hormone, a stress hormone that's a very positive one. So it's like if you see the lion coming at you back in the caveman days, you see it coming at you, like, wow, I got to get fired up. It's adrenaline cortisol. That saves your life. But here's what's happening in our modern world. We're always on the go. There's a 24/7 lion around us. Most of it's in our purse or in a pocket. It's called an iPhone. See, we're always waiting. We're always something. Got to be there, connected 24/7. And in that process, that cortisol, it's that pressure. And I'm going to show you how to relieve that, but it's having an effect on your bodies. That cortisol starts demyelinating nerves and puts you in a position to be susceptible to more disease states. So cortisol, over time, is not something we want to have. So this time pressure creates that. So it's time to rethink time. We're going to rethink time. I'm going to show you a different paradigm, a new paradigm. We're going to transform that relationship right now. Einstein, I learned about with Gay Hendricks. I'm going to read this to you. With Einstein, our experience of time changes and we make a fundamental change in how much space we're willing to occupy. By learning to occupy space in a new way, we actually gain the ability to generate more time. This is from the book Gay Hendricks. He introduced this to me. And what's important is this next quote. Put your hand on a hot stove for a minute and it seems like an hour. Sit with your beloved for an hour and it seems like a minute. That's relativity. So it's a time-space issue. Now, hold on with all your questions. I'm going to dissect this, and it's going to make complete sense. Okay? When you look at this quote, it tells you everything about how you're operating time. And it's really simple. A hot stove, when you're on that hot stove, your whole experience is retracting away from what's happening. Ever been in a bad relationship, besides myself? Bad job? Body you don't like? What happens? It's like time slows. There's a pressure on you. You're retracting away in the physical space, mentally as well. And time alters. Now, have you been with a loved one, a child where you're fully engaged? Raise your hand. A sport, you're fully engaged. What happens? When I met my lovely Yuki, my whole mind and space was to fully be present with her. Now you're leaning into physical time and space. You envelop the whole space and time changes. It slows down. I guarantee you, these 2 days, I guarantee you, and I'll ask you at the end, they will fly by. Because I will tell you, I speak to a lot of people. You guys are engaged. There's a couple chaos people that are still finding their way, but we'll get them in there. We'll wheel them in. So that's the difference. Think about a great rapport conversation you have with a client or a loved one. You're there, you're in the moment, you're not checking your phone. All of a sudden it's like, whoa, time has changed. So this is the concept of how we start altering time. It's a space issue, and it's about being present. I'm going to go into this more deeper, so you're going to get it. Time comes from you, you decide about time, and you are the master of time. See, everyone in this room, when you change the paradigm, you're no longer a slave to time. You control time. You control by your values, how you use it in space. But when you shift this paradigm, when I show you how to use this, you'll be more creative. Give you the positive effects here. You'll be more creative. You'll more have cognitive function. You'll be more relaxed. Remember how you felt that time pressure? Imagine if that was gone. That is possible. I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, old paradigm. Time is scarce. New paradigm, time is abundant. Time is outside of you. In the new paradigm, it's from you. You decide. Victim master, you are the master of time. And in the old paradigm, you're retracting away from your experiences rather than engaging them in space and time. So what's your relationship with time? I've actually already asked you this. Most of you have a challenging relationship with time. And you've got to ask yourself right now, well, I'm going to ask you for you, where is it working for you? Where is it not working for you? I want you to write down what your biggest challenge in time is, and on the next break, we're going to put it on that wall. This is anonymous, biggest challenge with time. Whatever you think that is. And we're going to post it right over there where it says biggest challenge with time. This is our sharing is caring board, where we can see what's happening with other people, and you'll see at the end how this whole thing transforms. So just write down on a Post-it note what your biggest challenge with time is, and we'll put it up there. Okay, eyes back up front. You're going to keep hearing me reiterate this morning, is that when you feel I don't have enough time, it creates the false reality that you don't. The example I like to use is this. Imagine if you woke up and you thought food was scarce. You woke up this morning, oh, for some of you, coffee, that would be me. You woke up and you go, oh my God, there's no coffee. Where am I going to get my coffee? Now, for a lot of you, that actually happens. You know, you pull up to the Starbucks, long line, Dunkin' Donuts, here we got long lines. You're like, how am I going to? But imagine if you lived your life thinking food was scarce. How would you feel inside? Would you be worried? Maybe you might be hungry? It's the same thing with time. It's just happening in a different way. So when we think we don't have enough time, it creates the false reality, which moves us into the excuse. How many of you in the last 24 or 48 hours has told yourself or somebody else you can't do it because of time? Raise your hand. Yeah, happens all the time. Okay, so a lot of you might be thinking, yeah, this is all great. How am I going to shift this? We are going to go on a time excuse diet. Yes, we are. And we're going to just practice it the next day or two. But the first thing we got to do is identify how we use time. Because what we think, we say, we program. I'm going to say it again. We think, we say, we program. I don't have enough time, can't go to the gym, blah, blah, blah. I can't call that. Don't have time to make my cold calls. Don't have time to have that meeting. It all builds up the crummy performance. Okay? But words like, if time allows, if I had more time. Just look at the words up here. They're in your manual as well, you can look at. Start looking at the words you're using around time. To start changing it starts with understanding how you're using time. If you left on Friday and you knew how to create more time, use it more effectively, and had all the time you needed, do you think your life would change? Do you think it changed a little bit? It would radically change. So here's how it works. We're going to cover this for the next 2 or 3 days. The mindset is the beginning, that there is enough time. See, last night when we were putting this together, and there was wrong equipment, and it doesn't matter if it's 40 people or 4,000, the same equipment basically has got to be used. There's got to be a screen, video, audio, there's just more chairs. I just knew that we would have enough time. And so I started getting kind of stressed out about time, because I'm in it with you. And then all of a sudden, you know what? There's going to be enough time. I packed my stuff up, I went home, they were still here putting it together, and it all worked out. See, your energy is affecting the people around. Have you ever gone into a meeting and somebody is super stressed out, and you're trying to like talk to them, like Kevin, and they're just like, what? What? It's the same thing. So your energy, see, communication is an exchange of energy and information. Yeah. It's words and body. We're doing a whole segment on this. And we're going to talk about how technology affects this as well. But your energy. See, when I actually show up someplace at a time that's later than when it started, when I was physically late, I no longer show up, oh my God, I'm late, 15 minutes late. If I need to make an amends to somebody, directly dialogue why I wasn't there, I'm going to do that. But that internal pressure of being late is gone. Because now when I show up, I can actually be of service. You ever show up late, you're just like, you're sweating, you're like, oh my God, what are they going to think? What am I going to do? How am I going to get it? Ever do that? See, that changes now your relationship. But once you change that pressure, you show up, you have your dialogue, but now you can fully engage. Most people, when they show up late to a meeting, it takes them 10, 15, even 20 minutes to get on track. They're so frazzled inside. The second part of this is having the right focus. See, if you know exactly where you're going to go, You get there faster. That's why we're talking about a GPS system, global positioning system. It's guiding you to get there. So you got to know exactly where you're going. That's the second way you change time. And third is being present. We're going to do a whole section on mindfulness, being present in the moment, a lost art. When you're present, time changes. You've already demonstrated to me. I've asked you about this. So mindset, GPS, being present, engaging. Could you imagine if I was up here and the whole time I was thinking about getting out of here? You think it would be a little different experience? You better believe it would be. It'd be for me. First of all, I wouldn't be on my purpose. I wouldn't be serving in what I'm committed to be serving, and you'd feel it. You'd feel it. I check in every segment. Am I present? Can I be more present? When you love what you're doing, you're present. See, when you develop that muscle, you don't even have to think about it. You can think about how you get better at your game, but when you are present on purpose, time alters. And here's the thing, time flies by. Some people go, oh, I don't want my life to fly by. Well, think about this. Think about going for what you want, building your foundation, and each day you get up and you're getting closer to it, and it seems like time didn't even happen. That's a great benefit. So you create as much time as you need. To have the ultimate life, you have to live from the belief that time comes from you. Okay? So we're going to do a mantra. Okay? Little mantra music, Chris, a little background music. I am the source of time. You're going to repeat with me. I am the source of time.
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 Now, I'd kind of like to get it to the point where they think there's a cult in here. Like when they, people are, what? Okay. Secondly, I'm responsible for my time.
I'm responsible for my time.
I'm responsible for my time one more time.
I'm responsible for my time one more time.
Thank you. My goal when you leave is that you own the clock. Because once you own it, your life changes. We're having some humor and fun. I want you to have fun. But when you own that clock, everything changes. Everything changes. Just think about it. You're doing what you want to do when you want to do it, and not when you don't want to do it. When you change the way you look at things, Wayne Dyer, what you look at changes. Anyone know Wayne Dyer? Familiar with his work? He was one of my first mentors. He passed away recently, last year or so. Really a tremendous guy. Like I said, I still get coaching and resources out there, but he really got it. But when you change the way you look at it, like I said last night, I got plenty of time. All the pressure went away. But it starts with the mindset. Remember when I said the 5 qualities of a high-performing person? It's not what happens, it's really what you make it mean. That's changing the way you look at things. It's changing the way you look at things.